Fujisue is a member of the Japanese parliament. He's a counselor in the upper house, so he's been there for, I think, a little over a decade. And he's going to be joining us today in a few minutes. But really, I want to take this back to when I first got a chance to interact with him. And it was last year, almost to this day, right? It's about a year ago, exactly. In April 2019, where I was in Tokyo hosting the Tokyo Summit. It was our second Tokyo Summit. And we had a lot of great friends coming from all over the world. We had guests coming from Brazil, a lot coming from the United States. And we had a whole melange of conversation, data privacy, cybersecurity. We discussed a lot, but our keynote was Dr. Kenzo Fujisue. And he really took us through a journey of what Japan's cybersecurity posture is currently and how it's looking like going forward in the future. And at that time, they were preparing for the 2020 Olympic that has been since delayed for 2021. And so today, we're going to be able to revisit that conversation. He's going to be joining here from Tokyo. It's morning in Japan on the 28th. And so he's been gracious with his time. So I want to be respectful of his as well, because I know they have a lot of things going on in the parliament. And he's in his office from the cues that I'm receiving. So this is going to see, we're all going through this experience together. So as we're trying to connect with Kenzo Fujisue in Tokyo at his office, in the parliament, we're going to get a live conversation. This is fascinating, actually. I'm very excited about this.
So I'd like to make a presentation about Japanese cybersecurity policy. So please put next button, return. Yeah. So at first, I'd like to talk about Japanese situation of Corona. So I have all time to use for Corona deal. So now Japanese parliament discussing about the supplement budget for Corona. Yeah, but please understand, Japanese infected people's number is very low, around 13,000. And the number of dead is 351 by yesterday. Next, please. Oh, thank you. So this is my background. So please check my background later. So I started my work at Ministry of Economic and Trade and Industry in 1986. Okay, so please push. Yeah. So I graduated from Tokyo Institute of Technology in 1986. My major is information engineering. And I was working for METI and graduated from MIT Sloan School and Kennedy School of Harvard University. Yes, please. And I was associate professor of Tokyo University. And in 2004, I changed to my job from university to parliament. Okay, and then now I'm a fellow of Carnegie Mellon University and guest professor of Waseda University. My specialty is cybersecurity. Yes, thank you. And the contents of my presentation, but please skip. So skip, please. So cyber security versus cyber resilience. So now I'm changing Japanese cybersecurity policy to cyber resilience. Resilience is very important for Japanese cyber system. Okay. So resilience means bushido of Japanese. Please, yeah. So this is Musashi Miyamoto. So very famous Japanese martial arts artist. And this table is very important. So Japanese government have just one law related to cybersecurity. So in 2014, bipartisan team, including me, established Cybersecurity Basic Law. So this is the unique law for cybersecurity. And 2 years ago, Japanese defense guideline wrote about cybersecurity for the first time. So Japanese government cybersecurity policy is very behind comparing with other countries, especially United States. Thank you. And now, Japanese government cybersecurity, not cybersecurity, cyber policy called as Society 5.0. So 1.0 is hunter, 2.0 is agriculture, and 3.0 is industrialization, and 4.0 is information, and 5.0 now. Please, sorry. And Society 5.0 means fusion of cyberspace and physical space using big data, AI, IoT, and quantum technologies. Society 5.0 cover everything: education technology, health technology, construction technology, agriculture technology. And cyber will cover very wide scope of society. So we should strengthen our cyber security policy. This means cyber resilience. So this picture, this table shows cybersecurity policy priorities of Japanese government decided 2 years ago. Most important point is enhancing measure for critical infrastructure security protection. And the second, strengthening measures for supply chain. So lack of cybersecurity awareness among Japanese business. This figure shows share of Japanese businessmen. They were awareness aware of cybersecurity. So around less than half of US, and two-thirds of European business people, Japanese business people will recognize as cybersecurity as critical, important issues. And this figure shows lack of cybersecurity awareness among Japanese supply chain. So Japanese business people never worry about business partners, cybersecurity, and so on. However, supply chain will become more and more important for a Japanese company. Thank you. So less than half of Japanese businessmen, less than 1/4 of Japanese businessmen aware of cybersecurity importance. Amazing. So this is supply chain, global supply chain of semiconductors. So worldwide. However, after Corona, this supply chain must be changed because of risk of China. Yeah. And in terms of 5G, so maybe US, Japan, and European countries, or maybe we cannot use Huawei's 5G equipment. Now only one company, Huawei, can have a total 5G technologies. So Ericsson and Nokia just cover one part of 5G technology. So this is our first case. We should make new supply chain. Huawei is a very big player in the field of 5G. Please. And next, I'd like to show you our Japanese government's problem, two problems. Now, Japanese government have NISC, a National Institute of Cybersecurity. However, so this institute was established by Cybersecurity Basic Law, not by establishment law. So their legal position is very weak. Okay. So now this control 14 critical infrastructure cybersecurity policy. However, so each cybersecurity policies were controlled by individual ministry and agency. For example, so financial service cybersecurity is managed by Financial Service Agency of Japan, and transportation and aviation cybersecurity are controlled by Ministry of Land and Construction and Transportation. And industrial power plant cybersecurity is controlled by Ministry of Economic Trade and Industry. So their cybersecurity policies are very fragmented, and also research institutes. A research institute related to cybersecurity also fragmented. So NISC must harmonize all agency and ministries and research institute. However, they cannot now. Please. So we should enhance NISC. So they have just 200 staffs, and they have no legal position because this NISC was established by Cybersecurity Basic Law, and they have very small authority against other ministries. So we, Japanese lawmakers, should make establishment law of National Institute of Cybersecurity. And now I show you US-Japan Isaac draft. 2 years ago, we amendment Cybersecurity Basic Law to establish Isaac, Information Sharing and Analysis Center, to share our incident data. And we established 14 Isaacs 2 years ago. However, so these Japanese Isaac independent from other countries. So now we push US-Japan Isaac collaboration. Next, please. Oh, this figure is very interesting. So US government total cybersecurity budget is around 20 billion US dollar. In 2018 or 17. On the other hand, Japanese government had only 200 million US dollar for cybersecurity policy. So 1/30 of US government cybersecurity budget is that of Japanese government. Amazing. We should change. Please, next. So I visited many US research institutes related to cybersecurity, MIT, Carnegie Mellon University, National Institute of Standard and Technology, and so on. So US cybersecurity technology very higher than those of Japanese companies. Next, please. So this is my proposal to Japanese Parliament and to US Congress. So I would like to promote US-Japan Cyber Resiliency Cooperation Agreement. So target is Isaac system, R&D, and harmonization of legal frameworks. This is very important because now US cybersecurity regulation is far stronger than those of Japan. So we should harmonize cybersecurity legal framework with US government, because Japanese industry should make deeper supply chain with US industries. Next, please. Back to. So now we discuss the first supplementary budget to deal with Corona. So total budget around 1 trillion US dollar. However, budget for teleservice is very small, just several billions US dollar for teleservices. For example, around 1 billion US dollar for telework. Usually, Japanese people like face-to-face communication, so they dislike telecommunication. However, after Corona, my friend's company's telecommunication service, telemeeting service, more than 10 times usage before Corona. And Medicare service, for the first time, Medicare service was allowed this month. Amazing. So Corona is a very good opportunity to promote Medicare service in Japan. And education. We put around 4 billion US dollar for tele-education. So this year, one student at junior elementary school and junior high school. So all students will have one PC or one tablet. Maybe very late comparing with other countries. And the next, okay. And Tokyo Olympic was prolonged to next year. However, Tokyo Olympic game is a very good opportunity to strengthen our cybersecurity, because former Olympic game was attacked by cyber hackers and so on. So this is a very good opportunity for Japanese cybersecurity policies. Please. Okay. So Tokyo Olympic 2021. I hope I can have Tokyo Olympic game next year. This Olympic game is a leverage cybersecurity of Japan. First point is greater public cyber resilience awareness. Now, Japanese people so never understand risk of cyber attack. And the second point is fostering Japan's cyber resilience culture. So cultural problem is very important, because now Japan is very peaceful country. So never worry about national security issues, including cybersecurity. And the third point is shifting policy paradigm from cybersecurity to cyber resilience. Thank you for listening. I'm very sorry. Thank you. ありがとう。谢谢。감사합니다. Большое спасибо. And so on. Thank you. I'm very sorry.
I thought I'd decide to spend a few moments and see if we can have some questions from the audience. So
Yes.
I'm sure there will be, because we had a lot of questions when you presented in Japan. And so we're going to see if we can give a few moments here for some questions coming from the audience. So we have a fairly large audience base from all over. So the questions are going to be pretty open-ended. I know we have some people joining us from Japan, so they do want to listen to what you have to say about cybersecurity. I was curious, since your last presentation in Japan that you delivered at our Tokyo Summit as a keynote, you spoke in April of 2019, and here we are now in April 2020. What would you say some of the changes that have been conducted on Japan on the legislative or government side that has advanced this conversation for cybersecurity readiness?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so not yet. So I tried to raise budget for cybersecurity. I cannot. So now NISC have just 200 million US dollar annual budget. So I would like to, I tried to raise up by 30% or 50%, but just 10% we can increase budget for NISC this year. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on industrial control systems? Somebody is asking about what you believe some of the threats could be from the industrial control systems in Japan. I mean, there's, I presume to be lots of critical infrastructure that could be severely impacted and are massively vulnerable and open for attack.
Maybe power plant and super express train. So there are cybersecurity systems better than other countries, I think. However, so industry is very behind comparing with US company industries, because so Japanese company never worry about national security. So Japanese company have a supply chain with many Chinese companies. They're using how say component made in China to communication equipment and personal computer and so on. So this is maybe a change. We should change such a supply chain system. You understand?
Yeah, yeah. There was another.
So this is an issue of national security.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To that, there was another question related to that came in, related to any lack of consultants that are providing cybersecurity support for the government in something like that. I mean, you mentioned there's a lot of lack of, one, the talent. I mean, there's not a significant amount of talent available in Japan. Where are they getting some of the support from?
Pardon me, sorry.
I said, what type of support? And actually, let's go here. How about some financial institutions in critical sectors? How has Japan adjusted to COVID-19?
COVID-19?
Yeah, for Corona.
Corona, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we usage of tele meeting and tele-education and telemedicine. However, so now Japanese teleservice cannot deal with cybersecurity not well. So we should put a cybersecurity budget by next settlement budget. Now I'm trying. So yeah, maybe our audience can understand So Japanese cybersecurity technologies very low comparing with US, China, and other countries. So this is most important point. So we should develop cybersecurity technology by Japanese industries in terms for the perspective of national security.
Has the Japanese government get involved or at least help spur investment in the private sector in cybersecurity?
Maybe regulation is the best way to push Japanese industry and other business side to strengthen cybersecurity. So now Japanese regulation related to cybersecurity is not good, very weak comparing with other countries because Japanese people and industries not never. So their awareness of cybersecurity is a little lower than other countries because we have any big incident yet.
It was an interesting question that came in asking generally, would I don't know if it would be the government or maybe some organization affiliated, would ever consider bringing on like red team pen testers to test some of the critical infrastructure to see the vulnerabilities and really look at the attack surface so that they can, because you mentioned also like to get people to realize the vulnerability, something has to happen externally. Well, that, as much as that may lead to progressive development and investments in cybersecurity or more preparedness, requires some kind of an incident to occur. But rather than wait for an incident to occur, to instead motivate and engage with red teams to be able to identify real vulnerabilities is this something that you thought about or other people in different organizations within or affiliated with the government have been discussing ever?
No, not yet, unfortunately. So maybe, for example, so one Japanese journalist interviewed me and he said, so please tell me cybersecurity policy. So I told him supply chain, cybersecurity, and legal framework transformation is very important. However, he said, PC's cybersecurity is very important. Amazing. So amazing. So Japanese newspaper journalists cannot understand cybersecurity now. So they cannot write true of cybersecurity. So their cybersecurity is just PC and just smartphone. Amazing. Maybe advocacy is very important in Japan. I guess. So this conference, maybe no Japanese take part in, I think.
Can we talk a little bit about some of the rules that govern data privacy in Japan, or the responsibilities of Japanese companies to really take seriously cybersecurity? I know that I think you mentioned that in the Cybersecurity Summit in last event that we had, where you discussed there was just lack of need by the countries. Let's say different countries that you're operating in have different legal regimes that protect data and make sure that there are certain breach notification regimes in places like the United States, like California. Are there such things in Japan that compels companies to take seriously cybersecurity and breaches that may occur?
Jonathan, my phone closed. Sorry. Somebody hacking me. Anyway, so I would like to talk to my friends all over the world. So Japanese cybersecurity level is very low. So this means this is very big market for you. So because Japanese companies and university have very lesser cybersecurity technology. So we should import cybersecurity technology from other countries. I think mainly from United States. So cybersecurity technology maybe 105, yeah, US 100, Japan 5. Yeah, so I think because investment in cybersecurity R&D, maybe 5% of that of United States is that of Japan, very small.
Now, the market opportunity from a business perspective, you're suggesting that Japan is a massive opportunity as a cybersecurity business, products, and services company to enter the Japanese market. What about the appetite by the companies that would be purchasing? I mean, I know you're not in the private sector, so that's maybe a question outside of your domain, but I was curious because a lot of people that I've spoken to over the years in different types of businesses who look at Japan as a huge market opportunity, but also don't see it as mature enough in respect to appreciating the unique characteristics of cyber threats, so that there's a lot of challenges in selling products and services into a place, into a country that may not have the appreciation of the depth of education and awareness of cybersecurity. So you're saying their knowledge of you're talking about a journalist, but let's just say an average small, medium-sized Japanese business. Not small, but very large size in terms of a potential buyer of cybersecurity. How do people navigate that when there's just such lack or low awareness of cybersecurity? And so I've seen that come across a lot of times from friends of mine that are in cybersecurity and looking at Japan as a great opportunity, but also very worried that it's going to take a long time to really get the type of support and sales into a country that has such minimal appreciation for the risk, given the size of the global economy of its country.
Yeah. So I show you US-Japan Isaac. So this is very important because each industry should have make deeper connection with US industry. So this means industry can share cybersecurity technology and level. Maybe after US-Japan Isaacs, so we can make new law. So our new law should be coordinated with those of United States. So because our supply chain is very important, if Japanese industry can make new supply chain with US companies, US industries, so cybersecurity level must be same. Now, Japanese companies' cybersecurity level is very low. So Japanese company, cannot join US supply chain. Yeah. So at first, we push Japanese industry. And maybe Japanese industry will ask lawmakers us to make new regulation for Japanese industry.
Yeah.
I guess. Please push, Jonathan.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, this is very. So cybersecurity policy is not popular in Japan. So very few lawmakers push cybersecurity policy. So this means very easy to push reform Japanese cybersecurity policy. So you connect to few lawmakers of Japan. So yeah, very few. For example, Mr. Hirai, Mr. Hayashi, and Kenzo can change cybersecurity policy in Japan.
Yeah. I wanted to leave a few minutes for you to say a couple of words. I know you have to get back to work. You have a long day ahead of you and probably a long week. I remember you mentioned you have some deliberations this week, so I don't want to take too much of your time. So I'll leave the floor. I'll leave the floor to you for a few minutes. And if you want to say a couple of words to the global audience we have here, we have people from all over Africa, Latin America, the United States, a few people joining in from Asia. So it's quite a broad audience. And the goal here, as I mentioned at the beginning opening statements, Dr. Kenzo Fujisue, is to help elevate the conversation so that people can look at what needs to happen in different countries, whether it's investments, more public awareness campaigns, more focus on topics related to technical or sometimes awareness and education. So I wanted to leave a few minutes for you to be able to close out your session.
Yeah, so I'm very glad to meet you. So I would like to make a global connection with you, friends. So Japan will be a very good market for cybersecurity business in near future. So please keep in touch with me. Thank you. Bye.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I'm very sorry. Thank you.
So we are very honored to have you, and some of the comments here wanted to extend our gratitude.
So Joe-san, would you give me one more time, one more chance? Yeah, so I'm very troubled today. So first, before our presentation, my PC down.
Oh,
I changed, and changed PC and trouble. And no, so maybe a screen is different from yesterday's screen. Yeah, maybe my screen. Yeah, for my now, I think a screen reformed. Yeah, really. So yesterday I tested this system, but today's systems are a little different. Bit troubled.
You know, it's the iron law of technology. It always fails, and things happen. So we understand. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.